So in this tutorial, we are going to be creating a countdown timer here, and where you can enter your seconds here, your hours here, your minutes here, and your hour here, and it's going to keep decreasing, keep counting down till it reaches 0 seconds. And once it reaches 0 seconds, it's going to bring out another window to display a message to us that the time is up, and it's actually going to play a sound, but you might not be able to hear the sound due to my microphone. So now once you're seeing that this is a 0 mark, and we can see this window popping up telling us that time is up. That's like time and our time up. So let's go along as we create this from scratch. So the first thing we are going to do now is importing our module. So we are going to start by importing time. So after we import time, now we want to from Tkinter, we want to import everything there. So that by using the asterisk sign, then from Tkinter again, we want to import messages. Yeah, that's message box. Then there's this module that we want to import so that we can use it to play our sound. So I'm just going to from play sound, we want to import play sound, and this module is not pre-installed, so you have to install it on your PC. So you can just install it by writing pip install play sound. So once you run this, you should definitely install it on your PC. So I have this installed already, so I won't be running this now. So from now, next thing we're going to do is to create our window. And how do you do that? It's just by saying root equals what? TK. So now once we have this, we want to set the geometry of our window. So it's just going to be root dot geometry, and we would like to make it, let's make it 300 by 350, 300 by 250. So when we have it like this, we would like to have the title of the root, and let's have the title as time counter. Okay, let's make it as yes, time counter is okay. Time counter. Let's just say countdown. Countdown timer. Okay, let's just put it as timer. Yeah. So after now, what we want to do is to declare some variables. And how do we do this? We are going to have some variables like hour. So I just represent hour with HRL, and it's going to be a string variable. So for us to be able to use this with Tkinter, you have to define like this string var. We're going to have minutes, which I'm going to represent in a short form like this, and it's also going to be a string variable. So after this, we are going to have seconds, which are just represented by sec, and it's also going to be a string variable. So we have this now. We want to initially set all these string variables to a default values from the beginning. So we are just going to have hrl.set now. I want to have this as both of them as 0. Then we want to have min.set. I want to have them as 0 too. Then we are going to have sec.set. Okay. We are going to have this as 0 too. So next thing we want to do now is we want to create our entry. And how do we do this? We can just have something like this. I just have HR entry. Yeah, we can have HR entry here. And we are going to, okay, I think we should have a frame first. Let's just have a frame, and we set this to frame, and we have it as a child of the root. Yeah, let's have it as a child of the root. So let's just, okay, have it as frame here dot pack. Okay, I think this should be okay. So from here, so we can just have our height here. Let's kind of set the height to be in line with this, and let's have the height as, okay, let's say 250, and let's have the width as 300. Okay. Okay, let's use place here. That's place. X equals to 0 and y equals to 0. So this should work well. So we're going to have our HR entry now. So we want to have it as HR entry. That's the entry for the hour. I'm going to have entry. So once you have entry here now, we want it to be a child of the frame. And what's the next thing? We want to have the width to be set to 2, and the font, yes. So I like to have my font set to area. So let's just have a top here, and I will have okay, area, and the font size set to 40, and I would like this to be bold. So font size set to 40, I need to be bold. So I have a specific color here I would like to use, but first of all, let's say the text variable, and this is why we defined the values here before, which is a string variable, the string value here. So I'm going to set this text variable now to hr, and I would like to have the foreground, which is can be short as fg. So the foreground color is the color of the text itself. So I like to have this as, okay, let's use this string and this notation here, and fc 0000, okay, 000. Let's put it this way, fc 000, and then I have to have the border width to be set to 5. So let's have it this way. So I think this is all for our first entry. So let's just have this as, okay, hr entry dot place. So let's place this, and let's put the x equals to 60, y equals to 20. So I think this should be alright for this. So we can just copy this and duplicate it to our minutes and seconds. So we have minutes here, okay, but what we want to change here is just this, and we want to have 135 here. So yeah, so let's have our seconds, and okay, so we have sec here, and the only thing we want to change here is these two, and we should set this to a coordinate of 210, the x coordinate to 210, and yeah, we should also change this, which is minutes here and seconds here. Okay, we have this way. So let's have a main loop here, and let's run the code and see how our interface look like. But before I run the code, I would like to change something here. I think this should be bb, so this should be bb. So let's quickly change that, and now let's run the code and see how the interface look like. Okay, so here's the code, and this is exactly what we wanted. So it is okay like this. So we could just enter, so something like this. So let's go back to our code here now. Okay, the first thing we want to have now after setting all this is the function that is going to like activate it. So now we can just have def start timer here. Okay, I mean, let's say the start countdown, counts down. Okay, let's do this way. Okay, now the first thing is we want to try something. And what do we want to try? The input is provided by the user, and we want to store it as an initial value. Yeah, I want to store it as a value first before we use the value. So we want to convert everything into seconds and store it. So we could just call that, okay, we could just store it as something called temp, yeah, just for temporary, and let's just have an int, and this int is to convert the variables, I mean the value in this variable which we have defined here, the variable we have defined here, and which is now set to this value here. So this variable here now is not like the value inside this entry form. So we want to get that value, we want to convert it to int, and after we do that, we want to multiply by 3600. This is just like converting 1 hour to 3600. So now we want to add it to what? So we converted, are we converting 1 hour to seconds? So minute, now we want to get this minute, and we want to have it like this, and here now we want to multiply by 60. So now converting minute to what? Seconds. I want to have the last value, which should be the seconds, and here we don't need to convert anything because it's already in seconds itself. So get, so we're having it like this now. So I forgot to add my addition sign here. So we have it like this. This is the first thing we want to do. And once we have it like this now, you now want to have an except. So if you're not able to get this now, what do we want to do? So we actually have this try block for special cases where we know that there's a possibility of an error, but we don't want it to just show up an error. We want it to like be able to respond to that error. So we have print now. We can just print like enter correct values. So we can just print this out, enter correct values. So we can have this now. So let's have it this way now. So why temporary values, okay, why temporary values is greater than -1. So whenever the temporary value is greater than -1, that means it's not less than -1, right? So what do we want to do now? We want to divide it. We want to get back our minutes and seconds now. And we have these functions in Python already. Yeah, I call it a function called diff mode. And what does this diff mode do? This diff mode is actually used to like do something like this. This div, which is div here, is standing for division. Why this is standing for like modulus size, we are getting the modulus. It's just the state by, okay, let me just have a comment here. So it is just like when we have diff mode, okay, diff mode like this. When you have a diff mode like this, what we are going to have, we are going to enter two values, that's this and 60. And what we are basically telling it here is to do something like this now. The first thing is that, okay, we can just have like, okay, diff mode, the first variable now that this will be applied to now will be dividing this by what? 60. We'll be dividing this by 60. We'll be dividing this by 60 and without any remainder. Why the second value is going to be applying this to will be just be like dividing the finding the remainder of this, which is this sign now. But this function has combined these two operations together so that we'll be able to it will be able to do it for us. So we don't have to like bother about doing it. So we can have like, we can just have like something like, let's say we have value 1 here and we can have like value 2 here. So this is how it works, value 2. So this is how it works actually. So if we should implement it here now, we can have something like minutes and seconds here. So we can have something like minutes and seconds here. Sorry about that. Minutes and seconds here, and we are setting this to diff mode. Temporary and 60 is the divisor here. So using this initial explanation here, this will be set to the answer we get from here will now be set to the minutes, and the answer we get from here will now be set to the what? Seconds. So now after this, we are going to set our hours now to 0, right? We are just defining the variable. So if ever minutes, whenever minutes like is greater than 60, we all know what we want to do, right? 60 minutes make 1 hour. Whenever a minute is greater than 60, we are going to use this again now to get our hours. So, but now you're not going to have it like, we are not going to use the minutes now, not the temporary again. We're not going to have it like hours and minutes. But this will now be set to what? Diff mode. Okay, minutes now and 60. So now what we are basically doing here is that going back to this place now, we are dividing 60. I mean the minutes we have, let's say the minute, if the minute is 110 now, we are dividing it by 60. Then without the remainder, that means we're having 1. So we are setting that 1 as hour. So we're having 1 hour now. So now the second part now we are getting the modulus here, which is the remainder, which is 50, right? So we are not setting that as our minutes here. So we are now left with 1 hour 50 minutes. So this is exactly what we are doing here now. So we are going to do it this way now. And okay, after now, what we want to do is each time we do this, we want to set back the values of our entry. We want to set it to the value of those things there. So now we set this like in this format now. So let's just have, okay, we want to make it in 2 decimal places. Okay, this should be 0 to D, 2 decimal places now, and we want to have this with dot format. Okay, we want to format hours in this format now. So this is the hours here. So I'm just going to like, okay, let's just duplicate this and let's have it more of them. Okay, so now this will be minutes and this will be sec. So now we're having minutes this way, minutes, and we're having seconds here now. So this is exactly what you're having here. You're having minutes this way and you're having seconds after that. So after this, what do you want to do? The next thing we want to do after this is we want to update the value in the entry. So we can just use root dot what update. We can call on this function to help us do that, and after now we want to wait for what? 1 seconds. So we want the time to just sleep for 1 seconds. So it can increment, it can like perform this operation every seconds. So now whenever temporary is equals to 0, what do we want to do? This is now where we are going to use our plain sound function. So I have a sound there which is called done.mp. So this is now where we are going to use it. So we're not going to have this like play sound. And now what do we want to do? We just want to play this sound dot mp3. That's the extension. Then after that, what do we want to do? We want to have message box now. That's y dot show info. So now we are going to have 2 arguments here, and one is the title. There is the title of the window because it's going to be displaying another window for us. Dot countdown, and the other one will be the information that is going to be giving us. So we can just have it as time up. So this is how it's going to be now. So now we want to set temporary to minus equal 1 after every single time we do this. So this is it now. So what we want to do now is have our button to activate this. So you can just have btn and we have it as button and we have it as a child of our frame. So now we want to have the text to set to okay, start countdown, start counts down. Okay, so we set the text now and you will learn to have the border width to be set to 5. So let's have it as 5 and let's have our command now as start counts down. Okay, so if you have it as this, I want to have the background color. Okay, let's have the bg to be set to. So I have something I like to use here, and that's okay. We should have a string first. That's hash a 00516. Yeah, I think this should work well. This should be 5. This should be 5. And we also have the foreground color, which should be the color of the text now. And also have another color I would like to use here as A085 now. So if you have it this way, so let's just place this button somewhere we think will be okay for it, or perhaps we should have a font for it. Yeah, we should have a font. So let's see. Let's set this also to a tuple, and let's have it as area. Okay, now area. Let's see size. Let's make it as, let's see, 20 should work well. We want it to be bold. Yeah. So this should work well. So let's place this button so that we can run our code and see. So let's just see btn.place. So I'd like to place this where. So let's put it as the x-axis of 70. I think y-axis of 120 should work well. So we could run this code again and see how it's going to be this way. So we could just like, okay, let's run this and let's see. Oh, I think our font is too big. So let's change this to, let's have it as 12. Let's run this again. Okay, I think this is okay for now. So you could just like use this timer as, okay, let me just try 5 seconds now. Now we can see it's reducing. Let's just see. Now we can see this. So if you like what you've seen so far and you want to see more like this video, you want to explore Python with me, we are going to be going through all different things with Python, exploring Python in the nearest future. Now, I'm telling you that my next Tkinter video is going to be coming up with more designs and stuff. No, we have just been creative. If you have watched my previous videos, it's just been some cool things we have been doing with basic widget, but now we're going to be adding more styling and theme to it in the future. So just stay connected. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Code Direct, to see more from me. Thank you very much. See you next time.